Alright, hello people. We're playing some Temur Delver today. The same list I played in the Showcase Challenge and was fortunate enough to get 10th, which is pretty sick. For those who watched last week when I played Temur in a league, this is pretty much the same list, except Oro was so impressive that I wanted to add another copy, so I just kind of greedily added another one, removed the Sylvan Library, and didn't add any extra lands. So I was like, that's probably fine. I didn't get really punished, but there were times where I was like, oh, I really need to draw a land. So it's not irrelevant. It certainly was probably not correct, but I'm just gonna run it as is and see how that works. So I actually wrote a tournament report about it too. That's coming out on China Fireball at some point, maybe this weekend, I think. But I talk about my preparation and my thoughts and all that kind of stuff. So let's just crack right into it. Hopefully everyone's having a great day. It's beautiful where I am here, so I have the window open and I'm feeling very relaxed. Have my coffee. Loving it. I think if I was to cut another spell from this in order to get another land in, I would probably just cut the Sylvan Library. I mean, it is really good, of course, but in certain contexts. But I don't know. It's just been the kind of card that's not been impressive. Maybe I'd cut a Tarmogoyf too. I could see cutting one of those. I guess the Hexy Boy is, like, fine too. Alright, well, let's crack right in. Probably gonna have to resize my hand here. This hand's not bad. Let me resize it a little bit more here. Yeah, this hand's fine. I mean, we're on the draw. It's not great. Let's not fool ourselves, but multiple threats upon it to find something else. If Sylvan Library is good, then that's good. But Snow Island Ponder. Alright. Wasteland's not too hot, but doesn't necessarily have to be. Bolts? I mean, they could be on Delver, and that would make that Bolt a good draw. They could also be on Snow or combo, so. I'll turn off all of it. Personal Tutor, Doomsday. Okay. That's not very good for us. In fact, that's very bad for us. So, what can we do? So if they have Dark Ritual Doomsday, there's so little disruption in our deck that actually has any meaning on that. And what I mean is, if we cast this Ponder, what are we hoping to find, right? Because we don't have any other blue cards, so we can't find Force Will. This deck doesn't play Spell Pierce. So Daze is the only card we could cast, unless we found Brainstorm plus Force plus blue card, which hypothetically possible. I could just deploy a threat and just try to set up a kill post Doomsday, like they Doomsday down to 10. Well, I guess 9 because I attacked them for 2 here. I play Goyf, they exile their cards. Bolt Ponder. I'm a little short of lethal, but maybe that's just the best route. Just hope they can't kill me on this following turn. If they can kill me, I don't think just digging for a Daze is going to help. So yeah. Although No, that doesn't really change anything. I was thinking about, like, the fact that I could level up Hexlinker as well. Hey, it goes, Delving goes well. How goes your afternoon? So this is, I actually wrote about this in my article of the Lost Connection. Well, this actually gives me time to talk about it. This is one of my, Doomsday was one of my losses from the Showcase Challenge, and when you're building your deck in the way that this deck is built right now, you know, with the Uros, Sylvan Libraries, extra land, I think decks like Doomsday, decks like Omnitel are well poised to punish Delver decks. Because we're dedicating more space to cards that are slow, good in, like, dominating fair matchups, but not so hot in this matchup. And not only are we filling our decks like Uro and Sylvan, right? Those cards exist in that space where they're like, okay, these cards are too slow. Well, in order to accommodate Uro, generally you have to have more lands. Now, of course, I only have 19, but 20 is probably correct. And now you just have less space for interaction, and you just play less cards that matter in the matchup. So I definitely think, sorry about that. I definitely think that's one of the costs of building your deck with Uro in it. Yeah, definitely Lynch House. Certainly. Yeah, I mean, Doomsday is a tough... Like, in general, Doomsday is a little bit favored for Delver, and I think most people consider that to be the case. But the more you build your deck to accommodate ways to beat control, the worse you're going to be against combo. And, you know, we're drawing cards like Sylvan Library and whatever here. And maybe they'd be other cards that also aren't very good. But, you know, it's taking up space that could otherwise be interaction. You know, so it's just worth thinking about, because I think people like to default to the unnuanced take that card X is the best way to go. Like, Uro is the only way for Delver decks to be built. And I think there are legitimate costs to building your deck in that way. And I think this style of combo deck can be tough. Because Doomsday can be very resilient. You know, if you don't apply enough pressure, it can definitely be resilient enough to beat you. They've lost connection, so just kind of hanging out. All in all, though, this list has felt really good. I kind of, I decided to play it, just kind of trusting my experience from that league last week. I thought it was pretty reasonable. Yeah, Uro out of Doomsday definitely helps against Delver a lot. Yeah, Jax, that's actually a good strategy. And to anybody who's, you know, a burgeoning Doomsday player, I recommend listening to what Jax said. Just make sure you draw Doomsday, Dark Ritual, Double Force, you know, really. That's the strategy you need to execute in order to have consistent results. Yeah, Doomsday is a sick deck. Like, obviously, the deck exists in this space that's a little bit... It teeters on being, like, kind of absurd at times. But I think it's a very reasonable deck to exist, because the cost of Doomsday is, you know, that people apply pressure to you, and that, like, you're trying to resolve a single card, so cards like Meddling Mage get really devastating. But, as a person who's been playing Legacy for, whatever, 10 years at this point, it's really cool to see Doomsday, like, be good at this point. Because, like, for so long, Doomsday was just, like, kind of a joke. You know, it was, like, something people played occasionally, but it just took a little bit too much work. It was a little bit too inconsistent. And now it's just cool to see people playing like, you know, Turbo Doomsday, get it out. You know, maybe the novelty will wear off at some point, but I don't know. I'm still pretty happy to see it. I remember one GP, this was so long ago, this was the one True Name came out, GP DC. I'm playing Shardless Sultai, and my opponent's just like playing random Grixis things. You know, like they're like cantripping, they're casting discard spells, and then I kill them. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess they're on like some kind of Grixis, you know, Pyromancer thing. Like that wasn't a super popular archetype back then, so that was a little bit novel actually. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna take out all my disruption, you know, all my like forces and stuff like that, and I'm just gonna bring in a bunch of removal spells. And then game 2, you know, just normal Shardless stuff, Tarmogoyf, Shardless Agent, into Ancestral, you know, whatever all that stuff is. And my opponent concedes, and I'm like, what were you playing? And they're like, Doomsday Fetchland Tendrils, and I never saw that coming. So I decided out all my good cards against them, and yeah, so the deck didn't used to be a consistent beast. Yeah, Doomsday definitely does have like one of the best win conditions in the format. Hey, thanks for the follow, Lil Wag. I don't know if you're trying to do some Waluigi there, but I'm always in for some Waluigi. The opponent, they've lost connection to the game. Vincius, so. Chris, Waluigi is the GOAT. So the fact that he's been denied his spot in Smash for so long is very upsetting. But I also have a lot of headcanons about Waluigi. So I think he's just been turning it down, honestly, because he doesn't want to conform to the system of, you know, the capitalist nation that is Nintendo. But that's just me. That being said, I'm happy when he finally accepts it and is in the game. Yeah, well, I mean, obviously this isn't great for viewership, but, you know, I'm enjoying chatting, telling stories. Yeah, he certainly is the hero we never deserved. Well, if our opponent just, like, disconnects, I think they have another minute to reconnect. I mean, that's unfortunate. We probably would have lost. We were almost certainly going to lose this game. But, you know, we'll just move on. I guess this happened to my opponent, what, like a month and a half ago, or like a month ago when the PTQ happened, and I lost power right before the PTQ happened, but I couldn't drop. So, that was an unfortunate system. I think the deck list is on stream, but I'm running 2 Hex Shrinkers. Yeah, four of each of those. Let me pull up the list. This is the list I played in the Showcase Challenge. Card view. Okay, so yeah, I won the match. Actually, I'll do it over here then. That's unfortunate, but yeah. So this is a very normal version of this deck. This is essentially Wakavak's deck list, and if you like Delver decks, if you like Delver, you know, information about Delver, follow him on Twitter if you're on Twitter. Wakavak, they are a master. Well, not him, them. They always post really good-looking Delver deck lists, and that's basically where I go for my baseline lists. And I basically just added an Ovo to it because it was really impressive. And it was pretty good. Hey, Ambrogius, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Yeah, okay, well, that's enough chatting, I suppose. Let's get into the next one. Hextrink has been pretty good, all in all. Well, we can't keep this, so easy. We can keep this. I don't know exactly what our opponent's playing, but I have some memory of them playing Storm. So I'm willing to put back the Bolt and be punished if they lead on Delver. But Okay, that's fine. So that means I don't think I want to ponder. Because, well, I guess the brainstorm, because I don't want to force switch brainstorm. I'm going to play Sylvan on 2 most likely. I'm just going to go land pass. It's representing Stifle. I want to play the Sylvan Library. I can hold a brainstorm if they duress me. I don't know exactly what's going on here, so. Yeah, that's actually a pretty good draw. All in all. So, let's just play Sylvan and see what's up. I have to imagine there's some flavor of combo if they're just like Sylvan. That's totally good. Because even Delver opponents tend to think about this a little bit. Yeah, I mean, that's certainly what this looks like. Again, I would guess that the game ones against decks like Storm are a little bit more difficult because you're playing Oro and Sylvan Library in your deck. And of course, Sylvan Library is like, fine if we just find... Sylvan Library is better. Like, I don't generally board this card in against Storm, but it generally is better post-board when you have less cards like Lightning Bolt to draw and more cards like, you know, Fluster Storm or Veil Summer or whatever. Yeah. My favorite point against Storm is when they cast the Duress, take my only disruption, see that my hand is nothing, and I can F6. So... This is what this looks like. Oh, is this Doomsday again? Doomsday, okay. So we actually get to see this. So yeah, there's no like Sylvan Library would have been probably some kind of threat. I mean, I guess it is taking up like interaction space, right? It could have been like a Spell Pierce or something. And I could have pondered to try to find, like, a second Force of Will. But I really just, like, didn't want that Lightning Bolt, and I didn't have a fetch unlocked up. Hellsmile82, thanks for the follow. Yeah, that makes sense. That the 3Cs kind of gives it away. These days, I feel like a little bit less tuned, like a little less focused on like the specifics of lists, so I'm a little bit all over the place for that kind of stuff. So let's see. Force. So they have no forces. So this is just like blue-black Doomsday. One Cavern over here. I don't know what that means for me specifically. Two. Okay, cool. So they had the kill. Easy enough. Yeah, so the real decision there was, should I have pondered on turn 1? And it's possible, but I don't know. I just felt like I wanted to use, like, get my Sylvan down. I had Force Negation to hopefully buy myself a little bit of time, but... Okay, Veil Summer comes in. Pyroblast. I generally don't... So, I don't think Surgical is that good, but it might be worth it. It might be better than some number of cards that we have. So, Uro, Dismember, Forked Bolt. You could always trim on some number of Lightning Bolts, although Lightning Bolt is certainly not bad in this matchup because it can apply pressure. Sometimes you just win. It's Rough Tumble, double rough. I definitely don't like Ancient Grudge, although Defense Grid sometimes shows up in some quantity. So maybe that actually makes it worthwhile to just like hedge Closest, no. Caracas, no. Rough, no. Pithing Needle, Soft Street Wraith, and some fetch lands. That doesn't really do much. And Nolad is just like, Nolad's like technically fine-ish, but yeah, I guess. Yeah, Surgical is good against. Oh, it's good against Poison Tutor and Limb Duel's Vault. Okay, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. You know what? I'll try that. So let's even this Bolt, and let's say this is what we're doing. So we have 10 creatures. Our curve is very low, so it might look a little silly to have all these lands in our deck. A decent amount of disruption. I'm not going to hedge too much against Defense Grid, I don't think. Unless I see it and we go to a game 3. Because I just really don't want to draw an Ancient Grudge. Needlessly so. And sometimes I like cutting Wasteland too. I could actually see cutting a Wasteland. Yeah, I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to do that. Because our curve is really low. And, hold on. There it is. Oh, get out of the deck, please. Yeah, I like this. Because, in general, against these decks, it's pretty reasonable for them to get basics early. And then it's not doing enough disruption. I really don't like Nolad against this deck in general because, like, the problem is that the way Doomsday... So, of course, there's the Turbo Doomsday approach, which they try to do it as fast as possible. And Nolad's good in that context. But it's actually pretty common for opponents to just, like, play a slower role. Like, you know, maybe bring in some removal, Baleful Strixes, stuff like that. And that makes me really not want to have any number of those cards in my deck. Because, like, drawing a Nolad when they're just, like, being a little bit more interactive, maybe casting a Predict or something like that, it's hard to figure out exactly what's going on. Okay, so obviously the same with the Keep, and obviously I was leading on Hex Shrinker because I had 2 blue cards, 2 forces. The question is, do I want to cast a Brainstorm here? And I think I do, because I don't really want this Wasteland. And if I miss on blue cards, it could be a little awkward for sure. But instead, we did not. So that's really good. I'm going to put back this Delver, I think. Yeah, I'm going to put back this Delver. I might just draw it. I'm going to attack because I want to hold up my cards. I'll fetch on my upkeep. Hellsmile, it's not like Uro versus Forager straight up. You know, there's a lot of, like, deck building constraints. And it's not quite that simple. I think Uro is good, for sure. Defense Grid. Okay, so I will interact with that. I'm gonna Force of Will, pitching a Stifle. And then I'm gonna draw the Delver, so we still have double Force up. And I'm gonna level up once here. And then I'm going to plan on drawing the Wasteland on the following turn. And then potentially double level. Okay, no way, Stavanger. It's a little... Well, one, it did pretty well in the event this past weekend. So, and it's, like, playing it with Uro is a little bit, like, kind of fresh. You know, it's just, like, people really wanted to explore that, and it's really powerful. All the Delver decks, and this is a really key point, are, like, good at certain points in, like, depending on what you're trying to play around. You know what I mean? So, it's... Like, I think Grixis is good right now. It's just, like, Uro's a little bit more... Like, people haven't adapted to the Uro Delver approach yet. So I think, like, playing Uro in your deck is very reasonable at the moment. So let's do this. I'll consider Wastelanding on their upkeep. Like, it's all just flavor of the month kind of things. So there's an interesting question here as to whether I'm supposed to Wasteland, because I could be playing around Days, but I actually think I'm just going to Wasteland. I have double Force of Will. If they resolve a Doomsday, they're pretty close to dying. I mean, I like Grixis. I played Grixis a decent amount. I played all the Delver decks a decent amount, like, recently. And, like, I can't speak for Anurag and Arkin, but, like, I've essentially just rotated through all the Delver decks in my past few streams, so. Okay, if I draw a blue card, I probably will stifle that Polluted Delta. Force. No, I'm just gonna attack for 4 and just let this go. Because now it's, like, gonna be really hard for my opponent to win through this. I mean, it's possible, but. Panhango, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Yeah, that's fine. Because now they're just dead. Force pitching Delver. They force back. Force of negation, pitching Force. Mm-hmm. Okay, so maybe they have, like, Baleful Strix? Okay. So, we did see Defense Grid for sure. So, I think I want 1 Ancient Grid, but not 2. We kind of saw that game how awkward Wasteland could be. Like, it was okay. It killed a Volcanic Island. But the problem is, I don't even want to use my Stifles on their mana, because I want to save Stifle for the Thassa's Oracle. So, mana denial is not, like, a key plan. I also think Lightning Bolt is... I really don't want to draw multiple of them, and on the draw, it's less likely that I'm going to have aggressive enough start where Lightning Bolt's going to be leveraged that well. So I kind of just want to trim the Lightning Bolt here. I don't think I want to bring it out of Wasteland. I mean, bring in the Wasteland or out another. I think this is okay. Of course, our hand developed pretty perfectly there. So, you know, that's one of the advantages of playing Delver. Yeah, this is a decent hand. I'm sure some people are like, decent, this hand looks really good. But, like, it has some flaws. It only has 1 force. It doesn't have a second land, so, like, I kind of have to decide whether I'm going to play Delver or hold up another land. Now we do have a second force, so that makes us a lot safer. I think I want to deploy the Delver, although it is awkward that we might be in... Because I don't think I want to stifle them. Because then I have force up. Yeah, I'm going to play the Delver. Getting the pressure on board is really important in this matchup, so... The awkward thing about playing a Delver 2 is that we're playing it into Days, which is, you know, if they just go Dark Ritual Doomsday, Days me. Okay, that's fine, that's fine. And they're incentivized to duress there because we don't have Veil Summer up. They don't know we have Veil Summer, but it's not too unreasonable to assume. They take a force, that makes sense. They're fetching, playing around Stifle, that makes sense. We reveal Days, which I like quite a bit. I want to ponder into a land. Let me attack for 3. And then I'm going to cast Ponder. These cards are good. I think I want to draw the Brainstorm last. and Wasteland them next turn. Yeah, that makes sense. So we'll hold up Volk. So now we have Pyroblast, Daze, Force of Will, Stifle. It's a good combination of cards. A single defense grid makes it awkward if they... I'm definitely just going to Pyroblast this. Like, you don't have that many other targets for it, so... Like, it's just you target their cantrips with that. And of course, maybe they're baiting because they want to resolve something else, like a Brainstorm, or, like, you know, they want to fetch without playing around Stifle, but there's no way I'm just going to, like... Let that go. There just aren't that many blue cards you counter in this matchup. It's basically just cantrips. It is not reliable to hold it for a Thassa's Oracle. Of course, my opponent's probably going to pass. Yeah, because they know about the days. But they only have 4 cards in hand. So let's just Wasteland the untapped C. And I'm doing this before I attack, because if they have Fatal Push or something, I kind of want them to use it because I can Daze. Because I don't think this Daze is going to have that much value. Abaddon55, thanks for the follow. So we ain't out of the woods yet, but we're looking okay. Sure. Shady Rat MTGO, thanks for the follow. Much appreciated. Hope everyone's having a good time. So if they just, like, Pyroblast my Delver, that's a little awkward, because then they'll have a lot of time to set up. But we do have Brainstorm on top. Street Wraith Cycle. That's interesting. Uh-huh. Okay, so we're going to force pitching Brainstorm. If they have Force back... Yeah, of course we can't do anything, but they're going to have to find a way to beat this Stifle, which is going to be a little tricky, but it is possible. So they go to 4, right? Because they lose... Yeah, so we can just Brainstorm, try to find a Bolt. So we'll probably do that for our turn. So if they have to play through Stifle Days, they can definitely play through Stifle Days. There's no question that that is something they can do. This has been a good match. A lot of interesting decisions. So what card can get them through this situation? Why not pitch Daze and keep the Brainstorm? Because I have a Brainstorm on top, and if they have Pyroblast or Flusterstorm, I want to keep the Daze. Of course, it looks awkward because of how it played out, but I still want to keep them honest with the Daze. It is possible they had Pyroblast or something of that sort. Okay, well... I don't think we saw either of those, actually. Please use they pronouns for opponents we don't know. I'm gonna Brainstorm. Okay, yeah, decent good. So... I don't think I need double Stifle, because if they have a set up... Actually, What if I just hold a Pyroblast and Stifle and not Daze? So we can go Daze on the bottom, Stifle on top. Then we have... But how are they... Let's say we just held double Stifle. How are they beating that? They have to draw... They have to cast a draw spell, though. That's the thing, you know? I bet they're going to play Baleful Strix. That's my thought. I bet they're going to use Baleful Strix in order to get through this. I think the Daze is too easy for them to play around. I am actually just going to hold up... I think I'm just going to hold up Pyroblast and Stifle, because they have to cast a draw spell in order to get through cards, and I think they're going to try to rely on Baleful Strix. Now, maybe they just have Fatal Push. So if they just Fatal Push the Delver, then we can just ride out double Stifle and hope that's good enough. So let me do that. That's actually pretty good. Stifle on top. Play this. We'll counter any draw spell they cast. If they just cast Fatal Push, then we're just going to rely on double Stifle to win the game. They could have... Okay, cool. So if they have so many different permutations. If they just put Fatal Push on top and then duress Thassa's Oracle, that would give them... That would let them beat what we had. Like, if they had that specific line. Of course, you know, they don't know what to play around necessarily. But... Very interesting. They can't use Ice Fist with their 1. Cool. Okay, so we're 2-0. But really 1-0 because somebody dropped. So, that's kind of whatever. But we've only played against Doomsday so far, so that's interesting. Yeah, so I'll just fire it up and keep battling. Okay. Listen, Colin. There's a reanimate in my picture here, so that should be enough for you. Wow. Okay, so this is quite the hand. We're really relying on finding another land. But I think this is fine. Because if we just... Yeah. Brainstorm can help us find another land. We really, really need one. But I think it's okay. Yeah, Stifle's been pretty good. I don't... Stifle's one of those cards that's like, yeah, it's very meta dependent, but it's also pretty dependent on how your opponent is just playing straight up. So they're probably on Death Shadow. Wasteland. Okay, that's actually pretty good. So let's go play Wasteland, do this. And I'm just going to cast a Tomoglyph. I know we're not holding up Stifle, but I think that's fine. Brainstorm, that's fine. I'm not interacting with that. So if they have Shadow plus Snuff Out, that's a little bad. Plus an interaction. I'm sure they have interaction. Wasteland. Okay, obviously that's annoying, but we actually still get to cast a couple spells here. Ooh, okay. So they didn't find another land. Yep, they shuffled. Okay, so that's interesting. I'm gonna ponder here. I would like to find a Wasteland based on what they did. But I'll also accept these cards. So let's go Daze, Delver, Trop. And I am gonna cast this Brainstorm end of turn just to use all my mana. So of course I'm turning on their Death Shadow. we are in a situation where, let's say hypothetically, they have Death Shadow, Force of Will, and they don't have a Snuff Out. Then, but I guess even then, like, we have 2 answers for Death Shadow. Okay, well, now we don't have 2 answers. Well, I guess Death Dismember is still kind of an answer. Okay, so I'm just going to straight up force that. Removing Stifle. They'll probably force back. Oh, they did not force back. So that seems good for us. So let's brainstorm into turn. I'm going to put Dismember on top, draw Daze. And then I'm going to, now that I've drawn double Delver, I'm just going to cast Delver. Okay, well, I mean, you know, we played Death Shadow this past weekend, so, you know, sometimes the draws can be kind of awkward. Against this matchup, Veil Summer for sure. Pyroblast is not that good. Like, Pyroblast is fine. It does something, but it's not perfect. Closest, it's a little slow. It's awkward because they are more lean than us by a lot, so they get to like, kind of like take advantage of that. I don't think I want to bring in Closest. Like, Uro is probably good enough as like that kind of engine. I'm only going to bring in 2 Pyroblasts, and I'm just going to trim some forces. I really want to keep up with them in terms of efficiency. And I know it's awkward in the face of discard and all that kind of crap, but I think it's really important to keep up with... Death Shadow is like one of the most efficient Legacy decks around. So that's how they beat decks that are going a little bit bigger or being a little bit more powerful. So I'm just going to ride with this. Well, I'm glad you think I'm pretty friendly. This hand is decent. It's a little cold to an early Delver, and if they just play around Stifle, you know, that could be a problem, but that's fine. Oh, God. They chose to not shuffle. Okay, so we have the ever-present Wasteland check, where I could see if they have another land, but I don't think they ponder shuffle and not keep a land. And if they go... If I Wasteland them and they go land threat, I'm kind of giving them back the priority to serve to me, and I don't really want to do that, so I'd rather just hold up Stifle, because maybe that's going to be a way to break serve here, where, like, they Wasteland me, I Stifle that, now I Wasteland them, and I have the land in play. So that's what I'm going to do. I think against Delver decks, sometimes it's right to do that, but definitely not in the face of a Ponder no shuffle. And also, it is certainly risky if you're at risk of falling too far behind on tempo. So now I will play the Wasteland, because now my plan is pretty clear. I'm just going to be on mana denial. So let's go Stifle. I'll Wasteland them on their upkeep. And we'll see if that's good enough. Okay, that's fine because we have plenty of lands. So I'm going to play a Flooded Strand so I don't get Wastelanded again. And I'm probably, now that I do the second Brainstorm, I'm going to Brainstorm end of turn and try to resolve the Goy from the following turn. Swamp? Thoughtseize. Okay, so let's go. They can't daze me, so this is a good turn to Brainstorm. I really don't like Swamps in your Shadow deck, but I don't know exactly what my opponent's deck looks like. These cards are pretty reasonable. I guess I don't need the Fork Bolt, and I'm going to hide the Tarmogoyf, because I want to resolve the Tarmogoyf. The decks I have found to be difficult for Rug with Uro are decks where the Uro itself gets, like, answered in a, like, particularly efficient way. So that means things like cards like Rest in Peace are tough. So Death Next is a little bit tough. Blood Moon, just like, of course, that just shuts down whatever that's doing. I also find it a little bit tough against combo, because like you have more of these cards in your main deck, so you're relying more heavily on the sideboarding games. Okay, so let's go drop. Goyf. So, of course, we're going to turn on their Death Shadow to some degree here, but... I could just not attack and try to set up, but... Fatal Push is fine. Island. Yeah, that's fine. I'm gonna shift my plan into an OO plane here. So. So let's see if we can draw land. That would be our best draw, I think. Sack like that. Nope, but all these bolts can be pretty decent. Their Death Shadow is still currently exposed to Lightning Bolt, so... Reanimate Tarmogoyf. That's fine. It's not perfect for us, but... Okay. Pretty good setup for our opponent. That's pretty bad. We are 1 point short of killing them over the course of 2 turns. So if they pay any life, I'm going to bolt them end of turn, and then I'm going to go for the kill. And we're 1 point short because we can bolt, daze our bolt, replay the volcanic. Him to dog. Okay, that's annoying. Okay, that's fine though. There's nothing I can do. Oh, they got rid of the dazes. Alright. Okay, so now we're certainly in an awkward situation. But we have a pretty clear route to victory here, and I think we should just take the path. Okay, now we are just dead, though. So let's cast Bolt on them and see if they interact with it in any way, because then we can fail. They did not. Okay, so yeah, we're dead. Okay, so Reanimate's worth keeping in mind. They had 2 basics, so that was pretty good. Him to talk. I don't really want Pyroblast more. Closest would have been good there, for sure. Although we did get a little tied up on, like, mana, so if they had any Wastelands, that would have been a little tough. I think Uro's still just fine. Yeah, I think this is just fine. Oh, maybe I don't want Sylvan. Yeah, I don't like Sylvan in the matchup. I just kind of overlooked that card in the first, but I think I'd rather have Closest. Yeah, all that's fine. It depends on what you expect. You know, you can play any anti-artifact, anti-enchantment card you feel that you need to. No, nothing's set in stone. I won game 1, I was game 2. Okay, so yes, I would like to play first. And I'll keep this. This is decent. I don't love everything about this hand, but it's really not bad. I'm going to start on a Ponder. Off of a Trap. These cards are good. These cards are good. So, let's go Brainstorm on the bottom. They're probably going to Thoughtseize me. And I think I'd rather them take Veil than Hexdrinker. Although I could be wrong about that. Yep. Hexdrinker has a lot of potential in this matchup. Oh, they didn't. Okay, so that's good. So now we're just going to go land, Hexdrinker, hold up Veil, Force of Will. So let's fetch. And cast Veil. Okay, that's fine. I will force a daze if they do it because this is pretty good. Like, okay, they don't have. That means they didn't daze, so that means they probably don't have one. is my guess. I did see what you did there, actually. Okay, just gonna daze that. I'm just going to level up twice. And I'm gonna hang back. I think once I get it up to enough, large enough size, like I don't need to enable a Death Shadow too much here. I will force to protect my Hex Drinker, even though my hand is a little bit cold. So they did not shuffle. So if they have another answer, then you know we're kind of in not a particularly great spot. But okay, doesn't look like they do. So now we get to go protection for instance, attack for 4. Now we just have a really, really good setup here. If they have Snuff Out, that's a little bad, but if they have another Liliana's Triumph, there's nothing I can really do. I'm gonna leave up Pyroblast and some other cards here. I think. Now, why do I need Pyroblast? If they just like Liliana's Triumph me, it's like whatever. Like I can't do anything about it anyway. Might as well just bring it up to, you know, its thickest size as quick as possible. Sure. Jace Friends Body, that doesn't matter. I am just gonna Fork Bolt that. I am absolutely gonna Pyroblast that. And we just gotta hope we draw a good threat before they do. Now, they might have the Shadow already, but... Bucky Boy, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Reanimate Hexshaker. Okay. Of course, that'd be good if we didn't have the Lightning Bolt. So now, yeah, we're the same situation. We've traded all of our cards. Just gotta hope to draw a good threat. Wasteland. That's not a good threat. So let's go Bolt that. And then Wasteland one of their black sources. Because if I draw another Wasteland, I'd like to get them off of black completely. Okay, sure. So we really have to draw something. I mean, this, you know, in many ways is like a very, like, traditional Delver mirror. You know, like, we're just kind of trading cards back and forth. But, yep. Could have hit the Wasteland to make Uro better. They're playing around Stifle. Okay, well, I mean, that's the cost of leaving Forceful in your deck. Oh, nice. Just casting that. Putting in the land. Now we get Uro next turn. If we draw a blue card, then we'll all set up next turn. Alright, we'll fetch that. I am just going to play the Flame Player on days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Getting rid of the creature so they can't reanimate the Hexshaker. I don't need that in play, I don't think. Okay, let's see if Uro's gonna be good enough. Ooh. Liliana, that's not better than Uro. So we have this Forcible, which is pretty good. So let's just ponder. Because if I find Lightning Bolt, I just win. Dismember Days Goyf. Yeah, I like all these. I'm going to ignore the Liliana. I'm going to attack them for 6. Play Tarmogoyf and Forcible Shadow, I guess. I guess I can just like let this resolve, like. I'll force it. Okay. If they have a removal spell, I mean, like, things could be a little awkward, but... Oh, well, close this should be good here. Nice, cool. Alright, so we're 3-0. First match was kind of, you know, a disconnect, but pretty good so far. I need to use the bathroom, so I'm going to bring up the deck, and I will be back in just a moment. Alright, I'm back, friends, and I guess we'll keep going. Yeah, that was close. That was a good match. Like, that should be, like, of course, overall was great there, right? It was just, like, the threat that kind of, like, closed the door. It was really tough for my opponent to beat. But there was a turn or two where it was, like, we were just, if they drew a threat before we did, we could have just lost. And that kind of goes to show just how, like, these Delver mirrors kind of go. That could be translated to any Delver mirror, and even though Uro is a really good threat, you can still just kind of lose to any Delver deck, which is why I don't think this is the de facto best Delver deck. I've been enjoying it. I think it's good. But whenever people are like, oh, do you still think Grixis is viable? Is Rug the only viable deck? Do you still think Blue-Red viable? Shadow? Yeah, they're all pretty much always viable at this stage of the game. You know, like, it was a little different when we had Deathlight Shaman. It was a little different when we had Red and 6. It was a little different when we had, Dread Hurricane instead of Oko. But I think right now we're at a point where all your Delvers are good, and you have to kind of choose the one that is going to fit the best for the metagame if your goal is to find, the right one. Or you can just play your pet variant, and it's still fine. You know, like, all of them are going to be good. You're not going to be... If you choose to play Grixis over Temur, you're really not sacrificing that much, honestly. Like, the Grixis deck I played on stream last week, briefly, somebody took to a top 8 finish in the Legacy Showcase Challenge. Like, they're all good, so. I think people like really divisive, like set in stone black and white rhetoric, where it's just like, this is the good one, this is the bad one, but you really don't get that. You got to pay attention to the nuance. And I'll die defending nuance. So, Omnibian. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. It's funny. I was chatting with I was commenting on somebody's post this past weekend about Monetary Swiftspear. Monetary Swiftspear is basically the only Delver threat I never play. I find the deck building constraints that you have to do with those to be pretty high. Like, generally you can't play too many wastelands, and also, which is like changes like the fundamental approach of the deck, and also the amount of work you have to put in to make the card work generally works a little bit against like certain elements of Delver that I really like. So I try to stay away from those. They can work. I've played, I think in general, actually, like Monetary Swiftspear gives you a small edge in certain Delver matchups. And the reason for that is because it's so lean and it plays a lot of threats, and threats are like really important in that matchup. But nevertheless. Hey, how's it going, Cerebral Flux? Yeah, glad you could check it out. We're 3-0 so far, having a good time. I'm trying to stream a little bit more. I'm also pretty close to being able to apply for affiliate, whatever that means. So I figured, I was like, okay, you know what? I'll just stream just a bit more to see how that goes. So, and I've had a little bit of free time. This was a pretty busy week, but I've gotten the bulk of the major work I need to do for this weekend done. So I'm feeling like I have a little bit of time here. Opa169, thanks for follow. Clog W, okay. Generally this opponent plays some variant of combo, I think. That being hand is like really bad, no matter how you slice it, so I'm just gonna mulligan it. Like, well, okay. Yeah, this hand's acceptable. I'm gonna keep, I don't think Oro's gonna be a major part in any winning game, and if I have to kind of make a choice as to what I'm gonna do here. The lightning bolt doesn't really fit in my mana. I think they're on combo, so the bolt's probably not that good anyway. So let's just ship it. It's probably more Doomsday, is my guess, but yeah, glad you've been enjoying it. I've been enjoying the streaming. If they are any flavor of combo, I'm probably losing. Which they almost certainly are. So last time, I think I played last week against them, and they were playing Grixis Omniscience, like Omnitel. So we have a couple of different options. We could say we need to brainstorm because our hand kind of stinks. We could just take a turn and say, all right, what does this brainstorm need to find? Is it even realistic that I find it? Let me just deploy pressure to the board. Hope I get one more turn because I have the cantrip. And then my future brainstorms will be that much better. Because I'll have extra pressure on board. I think I want to brainstorm here. I think this hand is kind of crap. So I think this is a pretty reasonable spot to do this. And it's not particularly likely to get that much better, but... So we'll pick a Goyf, we'll pick a land. We'll attack for 2, we'll fetch up a Volk and play Delver. The only awkward thing about that is if we draw Force of Will. Now we don't have a blue card, but we don't have that much more to do. We just have to be aggressive. Thanks for the follow, Jubei Ninja. Oh, but that's interesting. Yeah, you could definitely do that. You could definitely side into OL. Yeah, I'm just gonna attack for 3, play Goyf, have the fetch for Delver, and next turn probably just max level the Hex Drinker and Bash. Like, this is the only thing I have going, so I just have to hope they can't kill me. If they can, then I'm gonna lose. Obviously. But on a multi 5, you just have to be as aggressive as possible. Hope things pan out. They are clearly some flavor of combo, which, again, I think game 1, this way this deck is configured, it's definitely worse. Yep. Oh, God. So yeah, we have a 2-turn clock. I mean, we can't really do that much better than that. Land, Show and Tell, Omniscience, Gauss. Sure. No biggie. No big deal. That's not that. I'm gonna say essentially I don't have hope, but it is vaguely possible that we can just win this. And based on what happened, I guess it's fine because we drew the Delver instead of like playing the Goyf. Yep, okay, we're certainly gonna die next turn. So let's see. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We technically have exactly lethal if we transform this Delver here. That's interesting. Because that's the case, I actually want to just bolt here because it doesn't matter. The transform only helps give me a scry. It doesn't help give me... it doesn't help my Delver be more likely to transform. So I'm actually just going to cast this bolt end of turn. They'll probably force a will it because of that. If we transform a bolt though, we do have lethal. And if they just have Show and Tell Emrakul, not Show and Tell Omniscience, we'll have lethal in the following turn, but... yeah, this makes sense. Maybe I was supposed to bolt them earlier in this turn then? Force removing impulse. Okay. Alright, well. Hopefully we transform off bolt. No. Okay, so that's fine. So I'm definitely leveling up 3 times. And I have to hope they don't have Show and Tell Omniscience But let's say 3, 4... So actually, if they have Emrakul, just Show and Tell Omniscience Emrakul, nothing else, we sacrifice everything but one of our 4-powered creatures, and we kill them. So I actually think I'm just going to go for that and attack. We get to put our fetch land into play. Okay, Omniscience. Ponder, sure. We're not dead to Emrakul. But let's see. Burning Wish. We probably are dead to Burning Wish. Entity Infinite? Yeah. Okay, so... I don't see any particularly good reason to let this play out. But, you know, for a multi-5, not bad. Not bad for a multi-5. Okay, so I'm gonna bring in these cards. Caracas is, like, funny because it's not good against Omniscience, but it's still fine. Sometimes they just show and tell, and you just, like, really want to have the Caracas. Cards I don't like, I'm moving over there. I don't really want Grudge unless they show me Defense Grid. Pithing Needle does nothing. Nova, no. Sylvan might be better than another Bolt. Yeah, I could see that. And then just bring these in. I'm hesitant to have, like, so many Wastelands in my deck. It is good against Boseiju, but we are bringing in this Caracas as well. I'm actually going to bring out a Wasteland, and I'm going to bring in another Bolt. I think this is okay. So, yes, I'd like to play first. This hand is fine. I mean, I can't mulligan it. It's not particularly good. It's fine. I probably will Pyroblast any turn 1 cantrip, though. No, actually, last time we played, they had Baleful Strix. So I'm actually thinking I'm going to hold the Pyroblast. No, because I can daze that on turn 2. So that's not a big deal. Yeah, I'm going to Pyroblast a cantrip here. Snow-covered mountain. Okay. Stifle, that's not bad. Okay, well, I just want to get my pressure on board. And if we get the untap, we're pretty good. Okay, I'll play this to play on spell PS. We don't have a bunch of a clock here, but the second I get to interact with them in any way. Alright, well, they're just hanging out. They're comfortable chilling. I'm going to hold that Caracas. There's almost no benefit to playing it. So their Molder 5, it's weird because it's almost, like, undone by the fact that this Tarmogoyf has not applied any pressure. So it's like, I'm mulliganed as well because this Tarmogoyf isn't doing anything. But Impulse is fine. I'm not going to fight over that. It does up the power of our Goyf, which is nice. It's actually nice because if they have Show and Tell Omniscience Emrakul, we can put in Caracas, stifle the Emrakul thing, and Pyroblast the Omniscience. And then bounce the Emrakul. So we have a cool line for that. I am Pyroblasting anything, I just really want to use the spells here. Yeah, this is fine. Okay, the clock is improving a little bit. Hopefully we can find something of worth here. Force of negation. What does that change? Nothing? So I don't need to play this Caracas. Okay. Happy I could have Wasteland. I have enough cards to interact with them. I'm actually just going to Pyroblast this. I just kind of want to use my cards. Hey, Jason, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Bolt. Okay, that changes little. Is there a reason to play the Caracas? No. I still think the answer is no. They could have days, but... I'm just going to hardcast this. See what they have. Okay. Now I'm going to Force of Will, removing days. The clock has changed a little bit. Certainly got a little aggressive with my Pyroblast. You know, there's no question that, like, when you look back at things I could have done differently this game, that's certainly one of them. But I think that's fine. So now we have another Force of Will. Now I will play the Caracas because it plays around Flusterstorm. If they go Show and Tell plus Flusterstorm. Yeah, it definitely was a little rough, but, you know, I've gotten my own share of Fortunate Breakers, so it's just, like, a little unfortunate that, like, the last 3 showcases I've come in, like, 10th, 9th, or something like that. But, you know, the tournament I played before that, I was the only X2 to come into top 8 in the Man Traders event, and I won that event. So, you gotta take the good with the bad. It's just the way it works. So, is there a benefit to holding up Stifle? Not really. And I think because... So Force can push that, and I know I have a bad card on top, so I'm just going to do this. And maybe I should be... Tomgoyf. No, that doesn't really change anything. Okay, so now I have Lethal next turn, which is good. Yeah, you definitely flood a little bit more when you, like, don't have your Brainstorms at all. I think their hand is Omniscient Chemical, for its worth. Okay, I mulled to 5, they mulled to 5, and now let's see if we can get a game 3 with no mulligans. Did I see anything in the board that that they were playing that makes me want to change the way I boarded? Wasteland looks worse. Oh, doesn't look better, but it is a blue card, and that might be worthwhile. Still don't really like Lightning Bolt. They didn't show me Defense Grid. Yeah, Loam is good. Loam could be a good sideboard card right now. I don't really have a good grasp of, like, when you really want it, honestly. Like, it's good in mirrors, hypothetically. It's probably good against lands. But, I don't know. You just, like... It's the kind of card where you just spin your wheels a lot, and you're just like, okay, well, if I'm getting back some Wastelands, that's good. If I'm getting back, like, some other land, it's like, well, now I'm loaming every turn to get my OO. I don't know. It's a little awkward. It's probably strong. I've lost to it, of course. But... Yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna hope they don't have, like, Boseiju. They showed me so many basics. Yeah, this hand's fine. Not perfect, but pretty good. Like, Temur Delver into Brainstorm make my hand a lot better. It's pretty good. I don't know if it's actually good versus lands. That's a good question. I think it's good in the way that part of your plan against them is to stop their engine. And at the point of which you're stopping their engine, Loam becomes really good because now you can like force a negation their Life in the Loam and then generate your own Life in the Loam strategy. In that way, I actually think it might be pretty good. That being said, you do have to make some, you do have to have the Surgical or the Force of Will or whatever, or the Force of Negation, but I can see it being okay. I don't know. I legitimately don't know. Okay. Well, we're looking good here. I would like to draw a Pyroblast, Veil Summer, something like that. I don't know if they have Boseiju. I'm just thinking. Another Force of Will. Perfect. So, yeah, I'm just gonna attack for 3 and cast a Brainstorm. I don't really want this Wasteland. Although I will probably put it on top just in case they play Boseiju. I'm gonna go Wasteland, Wasteland, Scalding Tarn. Next turn I'm probably playing Goyf. Hopefully I draw a blue card. Burning Wish. I'm gonna let the Burning Wish resolve. Because I have enough disruption here. I'm gonna fetch. It's really bad if they have Boseiju because I'm getting rid of all these things, but hopefully we just draw a blue card and then we're good to go. Surgical. That's actually a pretty decent draw. That makes me want to cast Ponder, because then I have double Force, and if I find a Pyroblast, we're looking good, and because they cast a Burning Wish, because I let it resolve, Surgical is actually pretty good here. So I actually am going to do that, try to find Pyroblast. Or Daze or something. Instead of deploy the Tonga Wave. And I'm going to hope double Force of Will plus... Well, if I miss, then I'm going to hope double Force of Will is good enough. Oh, okay, that makes sense. That means they probably don't have another land, is my guess. So, of course, that's the punish, right? Surgical Ponder? They bought in Surgical? Okay. So they have Show and Tell, 3 blanks in hand. It is inconceivable for them to beat me through this on the next turn or two, because all these Force of Wills are going to hold them back. And we're going to have enough pressure to hopefully get through this stage of the game. So... yeah, Loam is definitely better against Delver, for sure. I don't like Sylvan against Delver. And it makes sense that it's good against, like, you know, the Death and Taxes just to deny the land part of the game. But the thing is, like, those kind of cards all kind of... You have to kind of pick your spot. Like, you're getting worse against, you know, like Control with that, right? And I think having Uro in your deck makes you a little bit better against Delver anyway. So I'm a little hesitant to put Loam in my main deck when it's like, okay, well, I think I'm a little bit better against Delver Mirrors anyway, so I'd rather just play Sylvan, because Control might be a little bit worse because we have, like, game 1s against Control, even with Uro, can be a little tricky because we have so few good cards in the matchup, so to speak. Like, Burning Wish, okay? So if we just draw a blue card, I think we've essentially locked it up. They consign Oblivion? What is this card? Okay, so just a bounce spell. Okay, I think we're good. I think we've all but locked it up. Hey, Chris, how's it going? Hope the stream last night was good. I saw Roland defended the title, so that's exciting. Nice. Okay, cool. So we're 4-0. Not too bad, not too shabby. Although it's really 3-0 because our first opponent just like didn't show up, essentially. But yeah, I mean, once I can defend my monarchy, I'll feel like I'm still the monarch. You know what I mean? Right now, I've been too MIA. I'm the monarch who left the throne. Maybe I'll return, from being astray. But yeah, I guess let's finish up this league. Maybe we can get a few more matches in after that. Yeah, sure, but like the thing with Uro, like, yeah, it's good against control because it's difficult for them to answer, kind of, like, if they have sword specials, it's like whatever. But the cards you draw off of it, game one, are not like your good cards. You know, you draw lightning bolts and folk bolts and dismembers and stuff like that, and dazes, which get dead, and wastelands and stuff like that. So I don't think the Rough Tumble versus Staticaster is quite that, like, linear. It's not just like, Staticaster is better against Worm decks, I like Rough. Decks have adapted a lot of X2s. Death and Taxes has a lot of X2s, as does, certain variants of Elves. So I have found that the ability to deal 2 damage to creatures without flying and being 2 mana both play enough of a role in being meaningful that I think they're a little bit more effective than is it Staticaster with what I'm trying to play against. But is it Staticaster is still decent? I'm not denying that. I just, I don't think it's right to say it's better. It's definitely not better. It depends on what you're trying to do and what you're playing against. I'd rather have is it Staticaster against goblins. That's for sure. Like, it's very rare that things exist in that kind of vacuum, where it's like, one thing is good, one thing is bad, Like, all of these decisions are considering exactly what I'm trying to do and what my metagame is all about. Yeah, it is definitely X1 heavy, no doubt, but I like it as a Staticaster. I've played it a lot, and I think it's effective, but, like, you lose enough to Sanctum Prelate and Skyclave Aberration, and you're like, well, Rough Tumble is a little bit more effective there, so, and that kind of just fits in with my general game plan in that matchup, so. Okay. We are going to mulligan, because his hand is horrible, and we're going to keep, and we're going to put back. So this is the kind of situation where, like, when I'm mulliganing, and I have to choose to put back a card, I'll just choose the redundant card, so I'll just put back a Ponder. Yeah, and the thing with Staticaster, too, that's really important, is it's a permanent base hate, which has gotten a lot worse against something like Death and Taxes because of Skyclave Apparition. Because now you can't just rely on it to do the thing you want to do. So, all I'm saying is it's not quite that straightforward. Oh, they get a double Echo start? That's sick. Yeah, okay, cool. That's pretty cool. I'll just force this to eat up the blue. I guess what I'm saying is I am not receptive to the language of things are better than other things, regardless. Like, there's a lot of context going into this kind of situation. And it has to do with what your game plan is and you know how you're really conceptualizing these kind of situations. And what you've noticed are problems. Okay, so against the Chalice, so we basically just started over, except they are losing the echo element of their deck a little bit. I think it's important enough to get Delver in play that I'd rather just pitch to Daze here. So I'm going to do that. Because Delver is really important in this matchup. You need to apply that early pressure. Especially in the face of an Ancient Tomb. Now, if they just go Ancient Tomb card next turn, you know, there's a little bit awkward tension there. Yeah, I'm definitely going to waste on the Ancient Tomb next turn, but I want to get this Delver now. So, and I'm going to get a Volk, because if they go Embry, I want to have the ability to kill it. Yeah, this match can be tricky, no doubt. We have a pretty decent setup here. Hope everyone's enjoying though. I'm enjoying the beautiful day. Windows open. Another Chalice. Like, of course, this is turning off a decent amount of our cards, but with the Delver in play and the Wasteland, I'm actually pretty okay with this situation. And we found a Daze. Perfect. So, now we have a decent amount of pressure. If we can get the Sylvan Library and then Daze like the next spell after that, that's really good. And yeah, this is one of the keys to, against any Ancient Tomb, you want to get aggressive, you want to get on board, and you want to you leverage Wasteland as much as you can. Okay, that's fine. They probably didn't have that before, so that was their top deck. So let's just play Tarn, we'll play Sylvan Library, we'll attack for 3. The thing with like matchups too is it's like some matchups, conceptualizing it as easy versus hard is like straightforward, but Magic is still kind of just like Magic, you know? So it's just like matchups can kind of go any direction. You just have to like understand what your plan to win is and like what needs to go right, and sometimes it's unlikely things like you need to get extremely lucky. But okay, so bolts are bad. Uro is fine. So let's go top, pay full life. We'll just cast Uro. Doesn't really matter how I stack it. And we'll attack. Looking good. So I just kind of need to keep an Ancient Tomb off the board. LED, okay. Mox Opal, okay. I'm gonna Daze this. They can't tap the Ancient Tomb too much anymore, and if... Nice. Cool, okay, so... They had a good opening hand, kind of. Depending on you. Oh, deck fade? Okay. They probably didn't mean to reveal, but... yeah, Pyroblast, Ancient Guard, Novad, Pitting Needle. I actually like bringing in Karakas once I see Sai as well, because Karakas hits a decent number of their cards. I tend to sideboard out some level of Wastelands, even though I just said that it's a key piece to keep them off the Ancient Tombs. This particular version doesn't have, like, an infinite number of cards that, like, they have a decent amount of basics. So I'm okay starting at 1. You know, we'll see what their actual configuration looks like. But, plus I'm bringing in the Grixis, so gotta be mindful of that. We are bringing in Pyroblast, so I'm okay cutting some number of bolts. It can be a little awkward. Sylvan Library doesn't really do too much. And now let's see what the deck looks like. So, we have to bring out 3 cards if this is the configuration. The cards that don't excite me on the draw are some number of Dazes, some number of Uros, and Lightning Bolt is always a little awkward because it's only good against some part of their deck, but I think it's still pretty reasonable. I think I'm going to leave in 1 Uro. No, you know what? I'm going to leave in 2 Uros, because if they chalice me, I kind of like that as the game plan, but it is awkward in the face of Hull Breacher for sure. Actually, because they have Hull Breacher, you know what? Hull Breacher is the one card that I just, like, always takes so long for me to adapt to. So, yeah, Dismember can do that. The problem is, it's just, like, kind of awkward to draw if they don't have, like, creatures, and Bolt also helps against Karn, and if you have an aggressive start, I kind of like it. So you know what? I'm actually going to do this, because I'm concerned about Hull Breacher. Thanks for the follow! F. Paul, or sorry, I cannot pronounce your last name, I'm sorry. But I appreciate the follow. Oh, Stifles are pretty reasonable too. This hand doesn't really do anything. Ooh. This hand really doesn't do anything. I do like Grixis more in Temur than is it, so. So, this hand's pretty gross. I'm gonna mulligan again. I don't think this hand is particularly likely to win. Yeah, we'll keep this. Put Stifle on the bottom. If they just lead on Chalice, obviously, it's going to be awkward one way or another. I'm actually just going to... I'm going to put back the Uro, though. Like, I think if they don't start on Chalice, then Hexdrink is going to be good to have. Okay, okay. Alright, alright. Echo. Getting Hexdrink on board is going to be pretty good, but might not be good enough. We'll see. Hopefully we draw Lightning Bolt, I suppose? Or Pyroblast? Oh, nice. We do Lightning Bolt. Perfect. So let's get this Emery off the board and hope they don't have a whole, like, a tremendously bad follow-up for us. They do have this Echo looming now. If they go Hull Breacher, LED, Echo, then we're gonna lose. I'll concede to that. Okay, they certainly have a Hull Breacher. There's nothing I can do about it. We're gonna play Goyf. Hope they don't have a Hull Breacher. Because they have Hull Breacher, I'm just gonna concede. Well, I'll wait for them to cast their Echo for sure, but... Yep. I mean, we mulled a 5 on the draw, and we kept it kind of, like, you know, meh hand. Yeah, they can have this game. They can have it. No big deal. Okay, yeah, siding our Stifle makes some sense. And especially because we want the Dazes on the draw. I mean, on the play. Definitely want 2 days. Maybe we want to dismember in addition to the lightning bolts. Just like the extra removal for Hull Breacher. Yeah, this looks reasonable. I don't think we need the, like, too many OOs. Yeah, we'll just do double stuff. I like it. I would like to play first. This hand is not perfect, but it is certainly good enough to keep. I am going to ponder turn 1. I understand the risks associated with that, because if I don't find a blue card, I'm not going to have forcible. But instead, I found everything I'm looking for, which is nice. So let's go... Let's go... Oh, this is awkward. Okay, so I'm going to keep... Because, like, what are the options here? If they just cast Chalice, I'll go Goyf. And I'll fetch away the Force of Will. Although, if I keep the Brainstorm on top, I can Force Pitch Force. And then keep the Brainstorm. Yeah, actually, let's go... And if I need to... Yeah, okay. So, let's go... Flooded Strand, Brainstorm, Force of Will. If they cast Chalice, I'm going to Force Pitching Force. If they cast something I need to Bolt, I'll Brainstorm into the red source and Bolt. And if they don't cast any of that stuff, I mean, we'll see how it plays out. But okay, so yeah, I'm gonna play Wasteland. I'm gonna cast Goyf. I like this situation. This worked out pretty well. We're looking good, but it's not by any means over. I'm happy to Wasteland that. Okay. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to Wasteland this seat, which turns off the Mox Opal, so that means they're incentivized to cast whatever they're going to cast right now, which is probably Hull Breacher. Then, I've added Artifact and Creature. Yeah. Artifact. So we're going to fetch, we're going to Bolt. And we're going to attack for 5. Oh, and instant as well. There's some merit to casting Brainstorm here, because they don't have Hull Breacher up. But Hull Breacher is not going to get us this game because we have the Pyroblast. Well, it's unlikely to get us if we're mindful of it. Ancient Tomb. So they probably have another Hull Breacher. Hopefully we just draw another blue card and we have double Force plus Pyroblast. Another Bolt is okay, though, because that actually changes the clock. That means, what that means for me is that I'm going to, if they cast Hull Breacher, I'm going to Pyroblast it, because now when they tap Ancient Tomb, they go to 8, then 3, then 0. So that's fine. I don't feel the need to do anything just yet, though, because it's not particularly bothersome at the moment. I just have to make sure I don't cast this Brainstorm accidentally. Yeah, okay. What is this? Ballista for 2? That doesn't bother me. Nope, that does not bother me. Now if they cast Echo, I'm just going to Pyroblast it, and then I can bolt the Hull Breacher. Okay, as it stands, I'm just going to Pyroblast the Hull Breacher. They're probably going to chump block the Goyf, is my guess. Again, we just want to draw a blue card here. Wasteland. That's actually not bad. So let's attack for 5 before we do anything. And I could just bolt the Ballista. Actually, no, I'm going to bolt the Ballista, waste the Volcanic, and then I'm denying them so much mana. Yeah, that's good. Hey, thanks for the follow, Ken Dog. Appreciate it. Because now they'll go to 1, I'll Wasteland their Volcanic Island, and they're down to a much smaller amount of mana. That's essentially cutting them off of 2 mana. No, it's cutting them off of 4. Because Ancient Tomb, Volcanic, and the Octople's off. So. Cool. Nice. Clean. Pretty cool 5-0. A lot of really cool matches. Not bad. Not bad. Always happy with the 5-0. Usually happy with the 4-1. Always happy for some good games. So. Nice. That was pretty good. Did I kind of just perform pretty well. Yeah, not like we played against a decent amount of combo, which I did say would be a little tricky, and we lost the game once, which makes some sense because we have like less like reliable anti-combo cards, but it's still a Delver deck, so we still were able to sideboard into a lot of good cards for combo, which is really nice. Matty Ice, MTG, thanks for the follow. Did we get Uro in play? Yeah, it was really good against Death Shadow. It was pretty critical there. But no doubt. No, Hexdrinker's good. Like, it's a 1-mana 2-1, which is fine. Like, it's not the highest upside threat, but compare it to other threats that this deck can play or would otherwise play. Nibble Mongoose, that's not very good on turn 1 either. Hooting Mandrills, I mean, that's not good on turn 1. Hooting Mandrills is better later, but there's certain contexts where you want Hexdrinker, right? Hexdrinker's really good against Chalice Sex. You get it down, then your game plan could just be Hexdrinker or nothing else, because that's all you need. You'll just level it up, it gives you use for your mana, which is pretty reasonable. I mean, I don't think it's the best possible card. I think you could definitely cut it, but it's been pretty good, and it makes sense in this deck because you just can't play any threats that rely on the graveyard. Like, Hooting Mandrills is just not another thing. You could play, like, Noble Hierarch or something like that, sure, but that's not really... I think, in general, that would be making the deck a little bit too underwhelming. Like, it's just playing a mana dork to buy your Uros is, like, fine, but you really want all your threats to apply some amount of pressure. I am not going to play... I don't think I want to play Young Pyromancer in a deck with Uro. Like, there's just too much... Like, we have 19 lands, plus Sylvan, Uro. We don't have the full set of, like, Preordains. We don't have any Preordains in this version. It's just a little awkward to have Young Pyromancer in this kind of deck. I mean, I like Young Pyromancer a lot. I just think when you're building your deck to maximize Uro, I guess, in general, you're going to want... a threat that's a little bit, like, not as reliant on other cards. The thing with Young Pyromancer is... Young Pyromancer into Uro curve doesn't really do anything, because you're not getting an extra token. Like, you're attacking for 2. Like, Tarmogoyf just kind of chunks in a little bit more. So, yeah. Yeah, against decks with Swords to Plowshares, I'm bringing in the Pyroblast, the Veils, closest, Karakas, and that's probably it, depending, maybe Nullrod, potentially. I'm bringing out a couple, like, Folkbolt Dismember, some number of Dazes, some number of Wasteland, maybe a Goyf, and maybe an extra Lightning Bolt. And that's pretty much it. So, Yeah, I have to use the bathroom. I'm gonna play a few more matches. If people have recommendations, fire them off in chat. I'll definitely, talk about Delver decks or play some other Delver decks. I'm happy to, play whatever people are interested in. But regardless, I will be back in a few minutes, and hopefully we can figure out what we're playing by then. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, I don't know. I'll definitely play a little more. Let's see what we can do here. I haven't played Grixis in a minute, so I could definitely play some Grixis if people are interested. I mean, I'll definitely play Grixis right now. Delver is just kind of like, a flavor of the month kind of thing. Like, there's a lot of different variants to it. I think Grixis is good. I also think, I think people really get caught up on best versions of decks, and, Delver's very malleable. You can build it a lot of different ways. And I think, Grixis is very reasonable and good right now. I think all the Delver decks are good. I think the Temur deck I just played is good. But, there's reasons not to play it. So, let's see. I haven't played this since last week. Okay, I think if your goal is, Ken Dog, I think if your goal is explicitly, I'm going to beat Sword Splasher's control, there is a better way to build your deck than this. If you had the second Sylvan Library in the main deck, that would go a long way. And I think it doesn't come down to just, Young Pyromancer versus nothing else. There's ways to construct your deck. But I think you lose percentage points in other matchups by having Young Pyromancer, because the deck building itself is kind of not as functional. It's not as consistent with how the rest of the deck is constructed to have Young Pyromancer in it. So, I think it's much better to approach, you could just cut a Tamagotchi for a Sylvan Library, and that's also making your deck better against, the Sword Splasher's control decks. You could add in another closest, and that's another helpful thing. There are things you can do, but I think every decision you make about a card you're adjusting is going to influence other matchups, and I have not found this metagame to be so linear that you only need to answer one thing. But if your metagame, if the thing you're preparing for is, I'm going to play against 3 Miracles every single time I play, yeah, you can make some adjustments, but I'm not sure if Young Pyromancer is the way to do it. Okay, so we're going to battle with some Grixis here, because people seem happy for that. I want to play a Cling to Dust. I haven't been impressed with Nile Spellbomb. Dismember's okay. I don't know, I haven't played this deck in, a week, so I don't know exactly. how I want to build it. I think this is okay. Is there anything I'm missing from this that I would rather include? Pithing Needle? Nah, I don't really care about Pithing Needle. Okay, we're just gonna run with this. So we're just gonna play this Grixis deck. So let's go to League Details, join League, Grixis to Stifle. I'm gonna have to adjust Cardboard Live. I'll probably be able to get a few matches in here. So let's start queuing up. I gotta change some settings here. Easy enough to just change that to that. It's good that it's taking a second here because I gotta update the Cardboard Live. Cool. Oh, good timing. I think that Shadow's good. The only thing really holding it back is the Sword Splash Hairs matchups, which, again, I haven't found to be so prevalent where it's like you can't really play it. I do think the deck is good. We almost lost to it in that last league. Yeah, this hand's not very good, but we're on the draw. If we draw like 2 spells in a row, we're gonna be pretty happy with this hand. And we're not dying to a combo early, so I'm gonna keep it. It's not perfect, but I think it's fine. I definitely don't think playing Death Shadow is playing a worse Delver deck. I'm just gonna lead on Delver and hopefully not to force negation things. It's just like it's just like a Delver deck that like it's more aggressive and it's a little bit more counterable by things like Sword Spellshares. But it is probably the best Delver deck against combo, which is really nice. And if the black cards are really good, it's really nice. This is pretty gross for this. No, you don't need... well, what do you mean by the last copy? Do you mean, like, the 3rd copy or the 4th copy? This list has 4, of course, but I don't think you need to play 4. Badlands or another fetch land is fine. I'm only playing 4 in this because I have a Liliana the Last Hope in the sideboard. You don't need to play Liliana the Last Hope. Just remember. Okay, that's not bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to preordain because I just don't think what we have is good enough. I think we need to find some more stuff. Gomeg's probably good. Actually, both of these cards are probably fine. So let's do this. And we'll just attack. Obviously, this isn't good value for us, but... Okay, well, at least we have a target for Wasteland. Baleful Strix. Okay, I'm actually just going to force that. I'm going to press the advantage as much as possible. They're probably forced back at this point, actually. Yeah, that makes sense. It gets a little more difficult for sure. Like, you can't rely on it against, like, Delver decks or, like, Destined decks as much. I think Badlands is okay, too, but you can't really play Stifle because the mana gets kind of awkward. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to attack for 3. Like, obviously this is not a good trade, but it means I can cast Gomeg Angler this turn, and I'm just going to kind of trust Gomeg Angler a little bit here. Wasteland their red, and play Gomeg Angler. We really need to draw something. Like, True Name Nemesis would be really nice. Brainstorm would be good. Search for Scanter? Oh, wow. It's been a while. I like that card, but... well, let's crack in for 5. Oh, I did not expect the scrub land. That's cool. Hey, yeah, glad you could check it out, Beijen. I do remember that. I loved playing Search for Azcanta. It was really good in that Miracles deck. So they're just some kind of like 4-color control deck. That's pretty cool. If they find another Baleful Strix or Sword Splashes, we're kind of in dire straits. Upkeep was like sketchy though. Like this was not a particularly good hand. Just swords in my upkeep. Sure. Okay, we're probably gonna lose at this point. If we find a cantrip, yeah, I mean that's not super likely to do it. We could play the land just in case we draw a land so we can Hubcast Force as well, but that's just not the way I envision winning this game. I think we need to draw a Brainstorm, like find a Wasteland and a Ponder or something like that. Yeah, I think the same thing is true. We're just going to lose to the search, which is fine. I mean, these kind of like control decks that have a billion answers can be difficult. Clinged at us? Yeah, that's a problem. Just like a card advantage engine? No, they already had a card advantage engine going, but that means Wasteland's is less good. I actually kind of like a Cyber playing against this deck, though. Liliana, Court of Cunning. Yeah, the problem is I can't like just draw some lightning bolts because they have this cling down. Oh, well, that's certainly our best draw, but let's see if it's enough. If I were them and I had a force and a blue card, I would just alt cast. Oh, they have that. Okay, I'm just dead. There's just no. It's gonna be so hard for me to get through this. So yeah, definitely like a lot of the cards because they don't have Veil, and they don't have Uro, so that's pretty. That makes this whole situation a lot better. So we're winning these 10 cards. These are like all good kind of control decks. Anti-control cards. I'm not going to bring out a Wasteland. It looks like we could certainly punish them on that front. Brazen Maul did not look good. Dismember did not look good. I'm going to bring out a Gurmag in the face of so many Baleful Strixes. I'm going to bring out potentially Force of Negation or potentially Daze, I'm not sure. I could bring out a Lightning Bolt too. We have Liliana, Dotties. Although I have to be careful about Plague Engineer. Let's just say I did this. I have to bring out 5 cards. I think on the play, I don't want too many Force of Negations. I just don't think it's necessary. I understand, like, it's okay against control decks, but... Stifle's probably okay. Court of Cunning's like awkward because they have Baleful Strixes, so that could be a problem for sure. But I think if we take like a slightly more controlling role, it might be fine. I'm not 100% sure about that. Actually, they showed us Sword Splashes. They're not just. This isn't just Grixis control, so maybe I don't want that many Gurmag Anglers. Yeah, actually, that sounds good. I can cut another Gurmag Angler. That actually looks pretty reasonable. And then I think the 3/3 bolts, not the problem I like. I'm gonna trim a Force Will. I don't know. They probably have like Power Blast in their deck. Although, if they're getting Power Blast, then I can potentially Wasteland them. We're gonna try this. On the play, I think this is fine. They probably have Snapcaster or Kolaghan's Command, something like that. They should have Search for sure. Spellbomb just seems like a reasonable card to have against them. This hand is not perfect, but It has enough cantrips, so I'm gonna keep it. Yeah, I'm certainly gonna keep bringing all my Power Blast against them. They have Baleful Strix in their deck. Search for its Canta. No doubt. Stifle True Name? True Name seems decent. Stifle... I don't know. I don't really want to leave up mana. We don't have a second land, so... Yep. Hopefully we do a fetch land so I can just brainstorm. Yeah, I tried out Ethereal Forge. It was the first thing I tried out when this new Legacy came out. And it is fragile, but it is good in certain contexts, and it's very good against certain types of removal, so there's definitely a place for it. It's good, but, you know, you don't want to play it if everybody's having a lot of Lightning Bolt, but you do kind of want to play it if everybody has, like, a lot of Plague Engineers, or, like, a lot of Abrupt Decays, right? So, there's definitely a place for it. I think it's good. It's not the best threat in the world, but I'm going to ponder here. I just want to find a fetch land. These are not fetch lands, but they're all fine, I guess. So how am I going to set this up? I want to hold a Pyroblast this turn. I'm going to actually put the Delver on the bottom of these. I think next turn I'm just going to slam True Name because I have the protection from Plague Engineer on the following turn with the days. I'm going to Pyroblast a blue card here. Yeah. Actually, they can have their Scry because I can kill that with Pyroblast whenever I want, and if they ever transform it, I have this Wasteland, so. True Name. No, I like Forger. Forger's a good threat. It's just like, your deck doesn't have to be constructed in a certain way. You have to, when you're picking a threat in a Delver deck, you're definitely making a decision to, like, be open to certain things. So. Like, when I was trying Temur, I found Hootie Mantles to be better than it on average because, like, I was trying to play Stifle on 18 lands, so I wanted to be a little leaner. It actually felt pretty good in Jeskai. You know, you have to have a reason to play it instead of Gomeg Angler. Like, if you expect a lot of Lightning Bolts, I'd rather have Gomeg Angler, but then is all those Lightning Bolts being paired with Oaks, then I'd rather have the Forager. You know, it all gets kind of complicated. As is the way. Okay, so, I'm pretty sure what I'm going to do here is Daze this Baleful Strix, Pyroblast to search Wasteland their land, and play Delver. That sounds good to me. So, I want to hold up Lightning Bolt then? No, I'm not going to hold up anything. Okay, yep, this works. So I'm going to start by casting Pyroblast here. Then I'm going to cast Delver. And then I'm going to Wasteland them. I could have taken a slightly different route. And I could have Pyroblasted the search, Wastelanded the thing, let the Baleful Strix dissolve, and have Daze for a potential Plague Engineer here. But, I think this is fine. Like, I might just get punished. You know, that's gonna happen. Maybe they have Toxic Deluge, but Zealous Persecution? Oh, sick. Okay, cool. That's pretty punishing. So Daze wouldn't have done anything there. Okay, so let's get Brainstorm. And I think this is fine. Because I only have the one black land, but I could have another red land. Flusterstorm. Okay, that's fine. They have a lot of good answers for this approach to Delver. So let's play this, and I will play my land so I can hold up the Bolt. Just in case they him to talk me or something. I'm not sure exactly what's in their deck, but... Okay, they only have 2 cards in hand. If they have some kind of, like, good threat, it's going to be awkward. Search. Okay, Search is good. Hopefully we draw, like, Quarter Cunning. I don't mind the Delver, actually. Yeah, seriously. Well, 2012. I mean, maybe 2017? When did this come out? But I guess those Pokemon, that's a call from the past. Used to love that in my old Esper Stoneblade decks. Liquid Jinvo. Thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. Yeah, sure. Let's find Quarter Cunning. Okay. I mean, we're probably dead. Kolaghan's Command? Yeah, they're really just doing it all. I like it. I like the Gusto. So we just got Daze to Kolaghan's Command. We have Power Blast. Okay. I do not mind that. Yeah, the deck is definitely greedy. Couldn't really punish them, which is fine. Sure. Okay. Do they have Baleful Strix in hand? Yeah, I can Power Blast this. I'm gonna take the Baleful Strix. What am I hoping to draw though? Is it literally just Quarter Cunning? Because I don't have Gurmag Angler in my deck in large quantities. I can't cast Liliana. If it's literally just Quarter Cunning, Engineering Explosives is like fine. I'll take Baleful Strix. They have answers for all my other cards anyway. MadMind88, thanks for follow. Sure. I mean, I could have, of course, played around Zealous Persecution. Maybe I was supposed to... Yeah, I guess if I didn't go for the Wasteland and Pyroblast on the Scantor line, it would have been better. It would have worked out better for me, but... Alright, let's cast this. Okay. They found Pyroblast, so I bet they found that off of their Brainstorm. Okay, well, we'll keep running it out. I mean, Gurmag Angler would technically be decent here, but... Nope, not stifling an Escanta. Okay, yeah, I've had enough. That was pretty... That was pretty cool. Definitely a throwback to, like, some old cards I haven't seen in a while, which is pretty neat. Like, I can't imagine splashing for Plow and Zealous Persecution is like the solution to what they're trying to do, but it is pretty cool, and it definitely worked out there. So, okay, let's run it back. Alright, join match. This is a decent hand. I wouldn't mind drawing, like, Days or... even Forcible would be okay, but Mountain. So... that could be a couple of different things. Well, I do Days, so... that's not bad, but... maybe I asked too soon. Maybe they're gonna go land... Rabble Master, yeah. So... let's see. I don't really want to Daze this because I want to resolve it too, but of course, John Primate is not beating Government Master right now. Let's cast a Brainstorm. I think that's a pretty reasonable approach here. So, if we Daze and they have a Simian Spirit Guide, we're probably going to lose. Realistically speaking. Because we're not going to have the ability to answer that or deploy something like a Pyromancer. But, if they don't have that, the situation's not too bad. Because we get to play Delver then. And we still have Force of Negation. I mean, they might have just gone like City of Traders, Simian Spirit Guide, Goblin Master on turn 1. So... I think I'm going to put back this True Name. I just don't think we're realistically getting that because I'm going to cast Daze. And put back anything. And I am going to Daze this, and I'm going to hope they don't have the Simian Spirit Guide. We're still not out of the woods by any stretch, even if they don't, but... so let's go... land... Underground Sea, Delver of Secrets. Hopefully they just play some kind of spell like in Force of Negation, but it's not terribly likely these days, because these decks have changed quite a bit. But we'll see, because like Chandra's not common anymore, they play like 5-Lux Squad or whatever, or Pierre and Kron. 5-Lux Squad, sure. But that does the Lightning Bolt, so hey, thanks for the follow, Bajan. Appreciate it. So we can definitely find Lightning Bolt and answer this. The question is, do we want to just play the Pyromancer? I think it's a tricky situation, because if they go... if we just get the Pyromancer and they go land Rabble Master, now we're probably going to be under a little bit too much pressure to come back from, but I think we need to go for the high upside play and hope they don't have the Rabble. I'm not going to double lock that. That's going to be tough. Hopefully it's just Blood Moon or something. If it's just another 5-Foot Squad, that might be okay. Oh, smashing? Okay, that's fine. No, the problem I have with chat is that I don't have 2 screens set up, so it's awkward because I have to keep pulling it up in order to refresh it for the screen, which is kind of an awkward way to do it. But I have a second screen, it's just my computer doesn't have a plug for it, and I can get an adapter, but I haven't gotten an adapter yet. It's a whole thing, but... okay, so let's go Brainstorm here. I would like to just find Lightning Bolt. Dismember, I'll take it. Let's attack. Another Shadow Cult Smashing is my guess. Okay, so I am going to get rid of this Fireflux squad right now. I don't want to pay too much life here. So let's do that. We're at 7. Yeah, trample. Yeah, I don't know what that's all about. Okay, double Rabble could be a problem, but Young Pyromancer, double Young Pyromancer actually kind of keeps up with that, so. We're gonna go block, block. Polluted Delta, no. So, let's go Young Pyromancer. There's attack for 2. And then we'll cast Brainstorm. I kind of want them to trade, if I'm honest. Okay, that's fine. So let's cast Brainstorm. Days Wasteland. It's certainly awkward. I'm going to put the Days on top to transform the Delver, and I am just going to Wasteland them. Chalice is fine. Somehow. Let's see what they're going to do. So I think I'm trading off one of these Pyromancers. I don't think I need all of them. So we take 2... Block, 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 block. Actually, let's just do math. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Or I don't have lethal either way. So if I just go like this... Go like this. We transform, hit them for 5. We're at 5, so they're at 6. We go to 3, they go to 1. We win the race. If I get to cast Days, I get a blocker, and I can maybe get some tapped Ancient Tomb. Yeah, and let me make sure there's no trample situation going on here. Yep, this looks good. I could just leave the token back. Then I get to attack with that, and then I take some more damage, and then I have a 2-turn clock, but then they hold back the Goblin. I don't know. I'll play this. I don't know if I'm fetching it. It depends on what they do. Not that too many of my cards do anything at this stage, because they have this Chalice. Oh, okay. I don't think it was over necessarily, but I guess the Days is awkward for them. Okay, I like Plague Engineer here. I like a Braid here. I don't know if I like Liliana. I mean, it's fine against Goblin tokens, but it's not that good. Stifle's not that good. This Member's awkward, but I'm still going to keep it in. I generally don't like True Name in this matchup. It's pretty slow, and we're bringing in another 3. Although, blue count is something to keep in mind. But I'm going to go like this. I don't want to bring in Thoughtseize. This hand is not bad. It's good against Chalice Blood Moon, but it's not so hot against Goblin Lab Master. I kept a hand like this weekend in the Legacy Showcase and had some problems. So, yeah, this is exactly the problem. Force of Negation doesn't answer this. And this is part of the reason I think Goblin Lab Master, like the 8 Rabble Master, 10 Rabble Master deck is reasonable. Right now. Like, not just reasonable, but like a really good direction to go. Because it does blank Force Negation super well. So we're going to lead on Delver, and the goal is to transform it and then block the Goblin Lab Master. Interesting. Handbrave Garrison. Okay. Well, we can borrow that. I think I need to force of negation removing Delver here. Yeah. Because I can't set myself back, I need to cast his Brazen Power. Yep. Ooh, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a tricky one. So, let's say we bounce the Rabble. We daze it on the way down. We take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We draw Lightning Bolt. We transform the Delver. We bolt this. We block a token. That gives us a route to say in this. So I think we have to bounce the Rabble. Tapped and attacking. Okay, just making sure I understand what it does. Okay, okay. We got a chance here. We have to find a bolt or something else that'll answer this situation. We cannot win if we don't do that. But we're leaving ourselves open to potentially beating them otherwise. Okay, Ponder. That could be fine. So we basically only have Bolt to find here. Because the problem with Angler... So I guess we can block and then play a Delver, worst case. Maybe if we just, like, kept the black open. We play Angler, we block, we go to 1. That's not a realistic route to victory, I don't think. So, yeah, I think playing to Bolt is the best way. Trade, block, 1. Well, I guess we go to... No, we go to 1. And we have no outs, right? Yeah, okay, they got it. Yeah, I mean, that's the problem. Like, Force of Negation used to be one of the cards you're really looking for in this matchup, and it's gotten a lot more awkward, for sure. You know, the 5-flux squads, all of them died to Lightning Bolt, but you gotta have the removal spell right away. Otherwise, they'll really run away with the game. So, but that's fine. Certainly can't mulligan a hand that looked like the one I kept. I don't think. This hand's okay. We're not losing to anything particularly quickly. Young Pyromancer is a good threat to have in this matchup. We can just let Chalice resolve, probably. We could probably let Blood Moon resolve, too. Although, I'll be put to the test if they put a Blood Moon on the stack here. If I had another blue card, I would have let on Delver. Okay, so let's go fetch, play C, Young Pyro. Tomb, that's a good wasteland target. Blood Moon. Well, as I said, I'm getting put to the test here. Because if I force this, I get to play Wasteland and play Pyromancer. I'm going to let this resolve. Just, I think this is okay. I think we can beat this. With the double Young Pyromancer plus Force. This is a little greedy, but I think we're in an alright enough situation. Like, Chalice doesn't matter. Stomp. Let's force that. Attack for 6. Any Forcible, any Lightning Bolt. These are good draws. Chalice, that's fine. Okay, so we'll attack for 4. And we drew a Forcible. Okay, I think we're looking good here. I think thinking of how the game was gonna play out if we forced the Blood Moon. We would have played the Power Master, we would have stomped, we would have drawn the Brazen Bower. It would have been close, but I guess we had the Wasteland for the Tomb. Ooh, I don't need that. We'll attack them down to 1, and if they don't have like a Fiery Confluence, we should be good. Cool, okay, yeah. That was nice. It's very difficult to know when you're supposed to let those kind of spells resolve, but you kind of have to evaluate your game plan and what you need to draw. Of course, we got lucky to draw the second Forcible, but... yeah, that's all fine. So, yeah, we'll win one. I'll get in another one. We'll see how quick it goes. Maybe I can get in another, but probably just one more. Again, thanks everyone for checking it out. Happy to spend my day doing some of this on stream. Got a sweet tournament report coming out this weekend for channelfireball.com. Eldrazi, okay. Mimic. Okay, yep, that's fine. Thanks to the kind words, everyone. So clearly our plan here involves Young Pyromancer. So that means I don't want to daze next turn. There aren't that many cards I need to daze. Of course, Thought Not Seer is one of them. We really need to find a land, and it would probably be nice to find multiple land. I think we should ponder here, although it's a little awkward, because if they wasteland us, that's bad. And if they have Cavern of Souls, Simian Spirit Guide, Thought Not Seer, we can't really do anything about that, so I'm not going to really think too much about that. Getting wastelanded would be a huge butt, though. So let's just do this. Let's just cast Pondo. We really need to find a land. We did. We also found some other cards I'm not in love with. It's not that Preordain's, like, bad, per se. But it's a little bit too... we're spinning our wheels a little bit too much. Yeah, so the reason I cast the Ponder there instead of the Preordain, while the Preordain is nice when we don't have the fetch land in order to set it up, we need to find a land, so we're looking for one thing specifically. I'd rather dig a little bit deeper. Because then by next turn we've seen 5 cards instead of 4. If like, we have to Ponder Shuffle or Preordain bottom. So we'll put those on the bottom. Now we're going to go... I mean, we'll get rid of the Preordain, we'll play Young Pyromancer. If they have another Soul Land plus Smasher, things could get a little awkward. But if we get to day something, that's pretty good here. It's gotten cloudy, but still really nice out. That's okay, because I have the second Pyromancer. I probably have to daze a Mana Reshaper here, though. Oh, Mimic? Okay, I'm fine with a Mimic. So I guess I want to draw Wasteland or Force of Will. Like, they could just draw Cavern, and that's going to set me up in an awkward... They could just have Cavern. That's not unreasonable that they're saving the Cavern, and they wanted to answer the Power Man before they got the Smasher down. But I think they would have, if they had another land, like a Cavern, specifically a Cavern, especially, they would have just played the Smasher, if they had a Smasher. So, because that's like enough pressure that it causes problems for me. That's actually not a bad draw either, because I get to... make a token right away. I don't know if I go that far, Lumable, but I really do appreciate the kind words. Let's see. Brainstorm. I can't really get rid of this Brainstorm. I understand if they draw... Well, I guess even in a challenge, but like even if they if they go Soul Land, Reality Smasher... I mean, things are a little tough, obviously. That's a lot of damage, but we gotta keep this Brainstorm. It's going to solve all our problems, hypothetically, so... Chalice. We can beat Chalice. Because we have this Brazen Power. I'm happily trading here. I doubt that they are. Forcible, good draw. So I think I'm going to attack for 1 and then pass. I've been streaming a little bit more, especially in the past month. I don't generally stream often. Right now it's been like, last week it was twice, but usually it's about once a week. It's just very difficult to find the time. I've been pretty busy. But I'm trying, like, I figured I was pretty close to getting to affiliate, whatever that means, and I figured I might as well just try to, you know, do that. So I've been streaming a little bit more to meet those qualifications. So I've been trying to stream at least once a week, and that's been going pretty consistently. So, hey, Spider-Man, thanks for the follow. I didn't want to brainstorm in the turn there. Well, I do want to brainstorm now. These cards are pretty good. So let's go Underground Sea, Ponder, play Delver, and we're going to attack for 2. Just trying to get some pressure in. Hey, yeah, hope everything's going well, Spider-Man. I'm happy you've been enjoying it. Okay, so I think they just drew that land, honestly. So, there is some merit to just forcing this in case they have a Spirit Guide, but I'm going to force them to have a Spirit Guide. And if they do, I can still just force it. Okay, they don't, so that's really good. So, do I want another token? So, Transform Delver. 3 points, there are 10. An extra token gives me 5. I attack. They don't block. They go to 5. And then they're just dead on the following turn. But they might just be dead on the following turn anyway, and I might want to hold this force. I don't think I need to. Actually, you know what? No. I've reconsidered. I'm going to brainstorm in a turn. Put the Ponder back on top, not cast the Ponder, cast Brazen Power, and then I'm going to attack with everything. If they block, we still have lethal, and if they don't block, we still have lethal. So, this is a really good setup. True Name is equally brutal here, so... But I actually don't think we need to do that. So, let's put Ponder on top. I guess tuning is better than Blaze Ball. It's just strictly better, I suppose. If the plan is just to hold on to the thing. 1, 2, 3. If they have... No, they don't have a Simian Spirit Guide in hand. They don't have a Cavern of Souls. If they play Smasher, I can still Force of Will it, just in case they have the Cavern of Souls set up. We got block, block, block. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, I don't solve off often. You know, I just like, you know, being pleasant. I like promoting positivity. You know, for every loss you're gonna win, so it's like no big deal. So you know, and that's one of the things that, like, you know, modeling is an important thing, and if I think that kind of like positivity and just like generally not salting off or that kind of stuff is important, that's kind of also playing into like why I stream more often, because it's just like, I don't know, I like spreading that kind of you know, upbeat approach. So let's see. Hey, Coach Loco. I hope I pronounced that correctly, but thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Oh wow, I really you know, that means a lot to me. So I'm glad that, you know, you could take that away, because I do care a lot about like let's just call it sportsmanship, like good sportsmanship, just being, you know, a decent person, winning or losing, because you're just playing a game with people. I think that's really important. So, but that being said, Plague Engineer is like super awkward in this matchup, but I think it's still fine. It's good against like all those Matter Reshapers. I think we need Force Negation to stop Chalice. I like Gomeg Angler. Bolt's kind of awkward. I'm gonna trim a Daze on the draw. Maybe I just want to trim a Force Negation too. Oh, you know what? I'm going to trim a Cantrip. I actually like that a lot. Yeah, that looks good. I don't think I need 9, and I don't want to rely on Cantrips in the face of a Chalice deck. So, I'm almost 30. I've had enough experiences, so I'm, you know, I'm not so easy to take advantage of. Okay, well, this hand sucks. They also mulliganed. This hand does not suck. This is a good hand. So. I like the Wasteland. I like the lands. To me, the only card I can realistically put back is the Bolt, but if they start on a Mimic, that's certainly kind of awkward. But I actually think that's the only card I can realistically put back here, because I really need to have my lands, and Dismember is a good removal spell in this matchup. No question we're going to force this. If we had any semblance of a plan that could beat it, maybe I'd let it resolve, but no way. Not in this context. This is something that I'm sure people who have been watching for a while have seen me do. You force the Chalice, you waste under 2. It's a classic line. I think I'm okay with them wastelanding me, unless I draw Young Pyromancer. Bolt. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's awkward, but I think I need to try to find... Yeah, Delver's good. Delver and Land are good here, so... Because they're probably going to wasteland me, and then I can play a 1-mana threat. I like the Chalice decks exist. It can be really difficult to play around, but I think they're good for the format. Sure. Bouncy Ball, I'm not concerned about people cheating against me. Again, I've been playing for a while. If people are gonna try to cheat, I'm kind of attuned to that kind of stuff. So, I mean, obviously, you can't, like, ever be 100% sure, but I'm not, like, really considering that when I'm, going into a situation positive and jovial. It's not a particularly meaningful thing to think about. I think it's not worth, wasting effort on that. So, what? We got Darknasty here. Sure. So, now we have... I'm going to dismember it in response. Because otherwise we don't get to dismember it. But actually, let me think. Let me just think. So, we have 7... They have 7 power on board if this resolves. I transform Delver. I attack for 3. Bolt. I'm not particularly close to winning that race. So, yeah, we gotta dismember. We're gonna lose some life here, which does swing the race a little bit in their favor, but... Oh, well, they're gonna take a Lightning Bolt. Hopefully we draw a cantrip. Or True Name or something. Okay, let's see what we got. Cantrip, perfect. So, I want to find a Gurmag Angler, so I'm going to leave the black mana open. Another Delver. So, what does this look like for us? We go... Attack for 3. If they have a Smasher and we keep this Delver, we're probably losing. That's just... there's not too much to think about there. So, I'm not going to worry about that. If they have another threat follow-up, so we attack for 3, 13, we play a Delver, they go threat off the Ancient Tomb, let's say. They're at 11, we're 8. If it's a 4-4, we attack for 5, 6, they attack us down to 1, we can't fetch. Okay, that's actually fine. We have a setup that beats, if they tap the Ancient Tomb to play like a 4-4, actually we have a setup that can handle that. So, I think this is fine. If they don't play a threat, I'm gonna fetch, because I don't want these. But again, we can't actually beat Smash here, I don't think. I can chump. Actually, let's think about this. Can I, is there a route where I beat it? Chump Mana Reshaper, draw Gurmag Angler. Yeah, I can technically beat it if I chump block this Mana Reshaper, because otherwise I'm going to go too low, I think. No, I guess I have the option. We take 8. I could also find Brainstorm into double bolt if I don't block. And I could still Brainstorm into Gurmag Angler. I guess I don't need the block. It's just like the Reality Smasher doesn't matter too much. Yeah, okay, we're gonna take it. It gets awkward, Bouncy Ball. It gets awkward at like an LGS because then it's just kind of like, everyone's there for like theoretically a good time and just like, the stakes are a little bit lower. Honestly, people should normalize calling judges, because it's not an indictment. It's not like you're gonna ruin your opponent's life by calling a judge. So I think judges are the way to solve that. You can definitely approach it in a way that's not like being a total jackass, right? You can just be like, I think you're playing a little slow. I'm gonna call a judge. I'm sorry. And if the person is just like going to get angry at you for doing that, that's gonna happen. You don't have any control over how people respond. You kind of only have control over your experiences. So like, I don't know. It's awkward for sure. But if you're playing when Magic comes back in paper and you're playing, a big tournament, you should just call judge if they've taken, like, 90 seconds to 120 seconds on their turn. But... Okay, so I really don't want these force negations on the play. Like, they're fine-ish, but, like, I don't know. They're only really good against Chalice. I think I'm going to be okay against Chalice. I'm going to bring in the Preordain and have my Dazes. You can be, like, nice and confident. There's an intersection between those. You don't just have to be a jerk, So... Okay. This hand is unfortunate. Because I really want to keep it. Chalice is going to be rough. I think this hand is still a keeper, and I think I'm just going to lead on Delver and hope they don't have Chalice. I think it's a little bit too... Because if I ponder and don't find an answer for Chalice, and then they have Chalice, and I don't have a Delver on board, I might just... that's about to lose. So, I think I'm willing to take the risk here. And if they have Chalice, I can Wasteland, maybe leverage this Delver to an aggressive start, but we'll see. Good. Okay, this is good for us. Giovasi. Thanks for the follow. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. I'm actually going to brainstorm. I think transforming this is pretty important. I need to get my I need to get it on right here. These cards are decent. I'm going to Wasteland, so I'm going to draw all of them. Maybe I'm not going to Wasteland, actually. Maybe I just play second Delver and Wasteland next turn. Yeah, that actually sounds really good. So then I want to set up Preordain... No. Ponder Preordain. I'll reveal Preordain. I'll play Underground Delver. Yeah, that actually sounds really good. Now we're getting, a clock on here. And if they don't cast Thought Knot Seer next turn, we can Plague Engineer away their Mimics. If they do cast Thought Knot Seer, then, we're clocking in, so... This looks like Endless One. Okay, cool. So, I am going to play Plague Engineer because it kills their Mimic. It blocks the Endless One. And then next turn we get to have a pretty good setup. I really like the situation. It's not over by any means, but... kind of take the aggro route here. See what they have. I don't mind taking 3 here. We're blanking Mimics. We're making their other Eldrazi worse. Endless One, I guess? Or Endbringer, I guess, was the other one. Sure. So we have 8 damage, so if they don't block this and we find a bolt, then we'll kill them. So, we're going to ponder. Dismember. And True Name. These cards are good. These cards are good. So what we can do is... I just want to make sure we don't lose if we dismember. We dismember down to 9, we fetch down to 8. We attack with all of our creatures, put them to 3. It seems safer to just, like, play True Name Nemesis and hang back with the Engineer, right? Because then we put them to 5, then we have any combination of 2 of our attackers are lethal, and how are they beating True Name plus Double Delver? I don't need to Wasteland them. That actually seems like the safest route. Even safer than drawing a Force Will. I guess All of Dust is something we can play around. Because they can cast that. So maybe what we do is attack for 5, hang back with Plague Engineer. We preordain, play the fetch land, Wasteland and Eldrazi Temple, hold up Dismember plus Force Will, and then we have Plague Engineer black to block, and they're just dead to the Delvers. That's pretty reasonable. Yeah, I'm cool with that. Do we need the Dismember in that case? I guess so. It saves the damage against the Endless one. I guess it doesn't because we have to fetch, but, well, I guess it depends on how you frame it. Well, we're going to keep the true name regardless. Do this. Plague Engineer is going to block the Endless one. That seems fine. What creature type do I think I've named the most often with Plague Engineer? Elf? Maybe? I mean, it's like Plague Engineer is like meant for the elves. Like, you know, it does good work against other decks, but they can't really tap that tomb if they like beating the Delvers. Okay. Yep. Okay. So they just didn't have a hand that could beat a Delver Shard, and this is part of the reason I like wanted to keep this hand. I think I've been in this situation so many times. Delver's really important to this matchup. You gotta race against them. It's gonna come up a lot. Cool. Nice. Nice setup. Okay. Yeah, so we're 2-1 in this league. I think I gotta call it in there, though. That was, this is a good stream. Definitely happy to get it in. We got the 5-0 with Temur to start. We're 2-1 with this deck. Bassett Tassin, 82. Thanks for the follow. I really appreciate it. I hope everybody enjoyed the stream. I know I enjoyed streaming. And I'm hoping to get in another one pretty soon here. If I can get enough work done, maybe I'll even sneak in an early one tomorrow. Just to kind of get it out there. Do I have the Temur list? So it's the same one I came in 10th with, so you can always check the Magic Online site, but this is the list we played. Yeah, if no promises for tomorrow, but I might be able to sneak in a quick early one. You know, maybe morning EST, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm glad everyone enjoyed it. This was good. Does anybody know if there's a good, like, any legacy people streaming? Is Anurag playing? Okay, I'll definitely send a raid that way. Let me take a look. Yeah, no problem. I'm glad everyone could enjoy it. Let's see what we have here. Definitely want to support some legacy content here. Oh, Legacy Council streaming, so that's probably where we're gonna send y'all. Yeah, that seems good. All right. Again, thanks everyone for checking it out. This was a lot of fun. I'm gonna send you over to the Legacy Council. Looks like he's playing humans, so that's pretty interesting. And I hope you all had a great time.